Hi and welcome back, guys. Hope you all are having a fantastic day out there. Moments ago, we just got some news I want to put out on your radar. But before I begin, I want to talk to you about the price of XRP, both at the beginning and at the end. I want to show you some moves I've made here today, what's going on in the overall market, and what's going on here as we just got huge news today, and I covered it in my last video. And I think a lot of people are just kind of like, not seeing this as a huge deal, which it 100% is, because the price is down. And I totally understand, I get that, but I want to talk to you about what's going on, because today we saw Ripple acquire a company that has over 300 plus top institutions globally, that clears over 3 trillion annually. This is a very, very big deal. But if you looked at the price of XRP alone, you probably wouldn't think it was, as we're down about 5% here today. Again, I want to show you some things that I did personally, but talk to you about, how we just got XRP ETF news, right? We just got great news from Monica Long talking about RLUSD as collateral for this brokerage, which I want to play you this 36-second clip here in just a moment, but the price is down. Let's play this clip before I begin right here.
What does this add to the Ripple business?
It's all coming together. So we've talked for a long while about institutional decentralized finance. Many of us here talk about institutions coming into the world of blockchain and DeFi, and this is going to blast that into a new milestone, kind of a new stratosphere. So the idea here is Hidden Road, through its prime broker business, is able to supercharge a lot of what we do. So using Ripple USD, the stable coin, as collateral for all of its prime brokerage services, as well as using XRP Ledger for a lot of its post-trade services. And of course, we've actually known Hidden Road for years.
What is it?
And so undoubtedly, this is big news. This is the type of move that I talked about earlier here today that other companies just flat out cannot make. And this is why Ripple is not only dominant right now, but they will continue to be dominant. And XRP's price will show and reflect in time. But what did we just get here today? I'm going to play you this 45-second clip about White House press secretary claiming that, quote, there will be a 104% tariff going into effect on China at midnight here today.
You mentioned the 70 countries or so. I'm curious, though, under what conditions at this point would President Trump talk to President Xi about tariffs?
Look, I just spoke to the president about this, and he believes that China wants to make a deal with the United States. He believes China has to make a deal with the United States. It was a mistake for China to retaliate. The president, when America is punched, he punches back harder. That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China tonight at midnight. But the president believes that Xi and China want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get that started. And the president also wanted me to tell all of you that if China reaches out to make a deal, he'll be incredibly gracious, but he's going to do what's best for the American people.
And so while we hear this in Canada about an hour ago announcing officially that a 25% tariff on some US made cars will go into effect, we're just seeing a lot of turbulence in the market, and there is just not liquidity and volume flowing into the market like it typically does. And so we've got a lot of investors still spooked, still scared, and pulling their money, their funds out of investments. And of course, crypto is always going to be hit the hardest. Now, oddly enough, it hasn't been hit as hard as the stock market here lately. And it's, as I've been talking to you about, shown a lot of resilience. But of course, it's going to be affected by what's happening overall from the macro side of things. Now, just moments ago, Eleanor Tarrant put out 2 weeks ago, I reported on my Crypto America newsletter that coalition of 30 crypto companies led by Fund DeFi sent a letter to lawmakers urging them to address the DOJ's prior regulation by criminal indictment approach to digital assets by holding software developers criminally liable for third-party action on platforms. Now, she states, today, the DOJ clarified that it will no longer go after DeFi exchanges, wallet providers, and software developers for being unlicensed money transmitters or for illegal actions by third parties, instead choosing to focus on bad actors themselves, like what they should have done all along. And so what we are continuously seeing is them pumping the brakes, the DOJ saying, wait a second, everything's been flawed, everything's been a mess or was a mess under the last administration with Gary Gensler kind of, let's say, behind the saddle, right? But everything is clearing up. And so incredibly bullish developments we're seeing within the space, but of course with Ripple acquiring companies. This is one of the biggest acquisitions in the history of crypto, but the price isn't reflecting. Here today, we see that Ripple just put a video up that opens up with Cardano logo. Why is this big? Well, we're seeing crypto companies connect, some of the biggest and best out there, bridging together to move this industry forward, while Standard Charter here recently puts out XRP could go to $12.50 before Trump's term ends in 2028. Maybe that's bullish for them, not for you and I, because we know where XRP is going. But the point is, these massive institutions believe in XRP, know where XRP is going. I don't agree with the $12.50 XRP at all. I believe it goes far higher than that. But if we take a look at the technicals, I want to touch on this. XRP's dominance is strikingly resembling 2014, and you can see that from this chart with Sistine research that they put out here today. So what did I do here today? I bought here again today. Now here today I bought off at Coinbase exchange, and I send it to my Decent wallet, so I have it in cold storage. I'll leave a link to both of those below, but the point is, I'm going to continue to accumulate, even though I have for years now, because I'm completely confident in understanding the fundamentals. The fundamentals here today got a whole lot stronger. It's very obvious when you are able to capitalize on a market and buy up companies that clears $3 trillion annually across markets with over 300 top institutions. I know if you just only simply look at the daily price action for XRP, it will distract you, because this is actually what's truly happening while the tariffs and all this noise that ultimately will not affect crypto in the long run and, stop blockchain technology from being the next big thing, right? This is not going to stop what we have going forward. Technology is not going to stop. You and I were pioneers, still early in this digital revolution. But my point being is what you have around what's going on the surface, on surface level, is a lot of fear, a lot of panic among investors. But if you look just a little bit deeper and see what's, as I like to say, under the hood, you will see both Ripple and XRP have never been more bullish fundamentally. That's all I got for you for now. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions, guys. Went ahead and bought some more XRP here today. Let me know if you made any moves out there in the market. I appreciate you all. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on those notification bells. We'll see you all in the next one.